Good afternoon, everybody. I am Cliff London. Welcome to Cliff London Uncensored. First and foremost, I have to say, and it's the last thing I'm probably going to say about this, and then I'm going to move on. But listen, the Chiefs lost fair and square. Tom Brady didn't call that guy that N word. Also, it's a moot point, even in that regard, because if the Chiefs were winning 31-9, it wouldn't have mattered what he would have been called. He would have been laughing, probably gave Brady a finger and said, "We're the champs again." I said, I'm going to stick by what I said, and I don't care what anybody in the comments section that was against it has to say about it. Okay? I'm not one of those YouTubers. I'm not one of those guys out there, one of those black men that every time or everything that a black person does, no matter how wrong or egregious or how much of a little bitch move it is, I'm supposed to get on board and agree with it. I'm not that type of person. I deal with the individual. No matter what race, creed, whatever you like to call yourself, I treat you as an individual. You're cool with me, and I'm cool with you until otherwise is proven. And another thing that shit in the comments attest to is that you got a lot of people that are raised way, 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 way too soft. Way too soft. The simple fact that you had people in the comments going, "Well, he said something disrespectful." Man, have you little nerds ever watched old football documentaries and heard the stuff that Lawrence Taylor, probably the best defensive lineman of all time, that Lawrence Taylor used to say? Football is not a little pansy ass game, no matter how much they try to change it into one. It's never going to be. It's a violent sport. Emotions run high, and sometimes some shit talking is going to be said. So for those of you that were in the comments going, "Well, he said something disrespectful," so fucking what? If it wasn't the N word, you have no leg to stand on. Get over it. Grow up. Maybe you'll be back next year. It's done. The real subject of this video I want to talk about now is, and it kind of keys into that. It kind of keys into the subject that I just got off of, and it kind of goes into the Cara Dune thing. Not Cara Dune, but Gina Carano. Those of you that don't know who Gina Carano is, she's the one that some of these loony ass leftists got canceled from her job just because they didn't agree with what she said, and what she said was common sense. They take all these values that conservative people have that are actually just common sense. And I'm saying that, I'm not a conservative, but I'm also not a loony ass leftist like a lot of people are out there these days. And the way this all ties into it is the degradation of American culture as we see fit. For example, things like the Super Bowl. That should have been something where no matter what race you were, no matter what color of skin you happen to be or what you happen to believe, that should have been a time where you get out the chicken wings, you get the sauce, you call Popeyes up, or you do whatever, and you have your friends over. Hopefully you have lots of different ones, or maybe you just have one, depends on where you live, maybe your crew is diverse, maybe it ain't. Who cares? Diverse is a dumb concept anyway, but that's a different video. But what I'm saying is that some things like football and things like our other American properties like Star Wars, Marvel Comics, these things that pretty much were universal to everyone and everyone liked them. See, people already liked these things. These things had already broken racial barriers. Star Wars had already done that. Okay? Gina Carano, the actress who played Cara Dune, was already a strong, opinionated woman in the first place. Okay? See, that's how it starts. See, that's how they start attacking the culture. They take things that we already all loved and they try to throw a little racist spin on it. Like they did with the Super Bowl. Like they did in The Mandalorian. Like they did, they're killing Star Wars. They killed Star Wars, everything that was good about it. That's their world now, and it's completely full of shit. It's like they should call it diversity hire wars is what they should call it. Or woke wars or something of that nature. But see, this is how they get us, ladies and gentlemen. They start simple. They start attacking the culture. We didn't need this. For as long as I can remember, I sat down with, kids from school, no matter what color we are. We all talked about being uh, Luke Skywalker, and the white guys talked about being Lando, and sometimes vice versa. But we all liked Star Wars. That's where we all could forget about the world. And most entertainment should be that way. Entertainment should be escapism. That's why people don't like this woke shit. Because you're ruining the escapism. If you deal with that out in the world every day, and then you got to come home and get bombarded with the shit, it's going to make you bitter, and it's going to make you resentful, and it's going to make you rebel against it. But for me, at this moment in time, what has really pissed me off is I just read that, not pissed me off what these people are doing, but pissed me off that there's a need for it, is there's a conservative group right now trying to start a thing called the Promise to America's Children. And what that means is, and rightfully so, they're trying to rescue our children. I'm a new father, by the way, so I take more stake in this than I did before. But keep our children safe from these leftist loonies in our schools trying to educate our children about gender identity politics. Now, if this education goes the route of basically, something to the effect of that would be you treat everyone the way you want to be treated. They're a human being. You don't bring violence on anyone. You don't hurt anyone, no matter what they believe or how different they are from you. However, in my mind, and what I've seen, is they're starting early with this stuff. Between the ages of 3 and 5, hell, in my opinion, up until you are sexually active, or, until it becomes an issue, you don't need to be learning about, sex unless they ask otherwise. But nowadays you got gay people on, which is not, see, I don't mind. See, I was going to say, it's not gay people on TV, but it's on children's programs. And it's not just children's it is just the children's programs that I care about. Because, and that doesn't just go for that particular persuasion. It goes for straight. It goes for polyamorous. It goes for trifectas, or whatever you want to fucking call it. Because when you're a child, you shouldn't be worried about anything but kid stuff. I don't want to, parents should have the right to choose. If between the ages of 3 and 5, they don't need to be knowing about a trans child. A child doesn't even know what the hell they are. And what scares me about it is you have these people now that if any inkling is shown of any femininity or vice versa, they're talking about giving them, hormone pills and stopping their and puberty blockers and things of that nature. So if you have a child and they become high school age, when they're high school age or whatever, and they start sexually experimenting, or they, want to come and they come home one day and say, hey, I might be gay. Well, then that would be something that you would have to deal with. Me, myself, I wouldn't, I would probably have my own feelings about it, but I definitely wouldn't disown my child, and it wouldn't make me love them any less. I'd probably have, you know what I mean? It wouldn't be like how these people try to make it seem on TV, get out of my house, never come back. I'm not that type of human being. I don't think that I could do that. But again, this conservative group, Promise to America's Children, all it's saying is it wants to keep children away from sexual identity politics while they're children. That makes sense to me. They shouldn't be indoctrinated at toddler age. You putting this stuff in their head, confusing them. I think that the thing is that they're just trying to make it normal. And where does, and normalize it? And where is the line drawn now? Because if it's okay for these kids to be learning about this stuff, about homosexuality and transgenderism and all this stuff at such an early age, is it too going to get, what's accepted next? Will your son at 14 years old be able to date a 21-year-old gay man if indeed your son was is that going to be okay? You know, or when are these woke white women feminists going to stand up against the transgender athletes that are in sports beating up on women? See, these things, they've labeled these issues conservative and right wing and things of that nature, but a lot of times these are just common sense. All you have to do is watch these transgender athletes beat up on these girls, especially in MMA and wrestling. Track is a joke. Weightlifting's a joke against these transgender athletes. And so you have these women that have paid the same blood, sweat, and tears and sacrifice for years and years to try to get where they're going. For some, volleyball is the way out of the suburbs. That's the only way they're going to go to college. Not anymore, because you got fucking Dequan Makindakimbe. I feel like I'm a woman today and I just want to express myself on the court and have equality like everyone else. Set. Becky's all, just like, complete ridiculous. And I don't know if you all have ever seen any interviews with some of these transgender, athletes and the passing the buck and the amount of lunacy that is in their brains to justify them beating up on these women and destroying these women's lives. But yet, crickets from the feminism realm. You'll hear about female representation, they're fucking up Thor. They fucked up Star Trek with this stuff. It's misguided. They crucify Gina Carano for being stood up. They're showing these women 110 pounds beating up trained mercenaries and shit. They've screwed up Batman, but they will not. They are cowardly in the end. Yeah, I'm talking about you, white lady feminist and black lady feminist, and all you feminists, because you will fuck with men, you'll reach into our private little shit, our video games, to talk about representation, you talk about body shaming and blah, 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 but you will not say anything. You will not say shit about these big, huge, transgender, I was a man yesterday, a girl today, motherfuckers, kicking your ass and destroying women's sports. Where's your spine now? Where's all your vagina hats and all that I am woman hear me roar crap? Because I'm not hearing it now. And this is like actual violence, especially the combat sports. But you don't hear anything about it, right? But in the end, and I'm gonna wrap this up here. But just what I expressed to you. The three things I have talked to you about is these losers that think that Tom Brady should have lost just because it's Black History Month. I guess you get a month of fucking handouts or something. I don't know. Which is not very strong of you, by the way. Those of you that are supposed to be strong, asking for handouts and shit, wanting people to lose because it's Black History Month. That's not very strong and it's not very manly. It's kind of a bitch ass move, and you can call me what you want in the comments. The other thing we talked about is the firing of Gina Carano. They took something that, a person who did not bend the knee and was by their definition, they fired her. They took something she said, or a tweet that she said, out of context. Okay, now, anything that doesn't. Now, we have some very brave people. And again, I will tell you something. I am not one of those damn radical leftists, and I'm not a hardcore leaning right conservative, and I'm not going to call myself some bullshit label like a centrist. I'm just an American citizen who's concerned and wants to do my part to keep the country the country. So you come to the third thing that I was talking about in the video, and that's this conservative group and their thing that they want to propose called the Promise to America's Children. And like I said before, hey, I think that people should be able to live any way that they want to live. You got one life, but you should not be able to force that life on other people, whether it be religion, whether it be sexual, whether it be a movie that you like and they may not like, if you're, anything. Because that's one of the principles that makes this country great, is the free flow of ideas. the ability to say what you want, the ability to listen. Though something may piss you off and you may not like it, that is one of the things that makes this country great. And they are taking that away from us, people. This video will probably get demonetized for the things that I said. Not that any of them are monetized or that I get any money anyway. But the fact that you have, that I can be censored. And I am not preaching hate. I'm just preaching, basically what I'm preaching is keep your sexual identity politics to yourself and from my child until my child is of an age to choose for themselves or to comprehend what they want. And they can make their own choice. 15, 16 years old, something like that. When they're they can make their own choice he can make his own choice about how he feels about it. But it ain't right. You people trying to get at them when they're toddlers, when he should be worried about little boy shit, and telling him that he maybe or may not should be worried about little girl shit because you think it's right. You don't get that right. The parents should have the say, not you. And so I'm going to applaud, and I'm going to look into this further. By the way, where I got this information, it's a paper called the Epoch Times. You can get one. You can either get it on your phone or you can get it in paper copy. It's called the Epoch Times, and it has this whole story about the promise to America's children. There's nothing wrong with that, folks. There's nothing wrong with wanting to keep your kid away from the yuck of the world as much as possible. No matter whether that yuck be hate, whether that yuck be racism, whether that yuck be radical leftist loonies that are trying to tell you how to raise your kid. And with that being said, people, just remember, I'm Cliff London Uncensored. And if you've liked what you've heard on the video, please like the video, please share the video, give it a big old fat mashing that thumbs up button because it helps with the YouTube algorithm. But just remember, everybody, my fellow Americans out there, no matter what side of the political circus you are on, just remember there is no fate but what we make for ourselves. And it's time to start making fate for ourselves, by the way. People like Chris Pratt, people like Gina Carano, people like Nick, seriously, these people that dare to be different. We need to look at their projects more. We need to pay more attention to what they're doing and support them and make these people like Gina Carano really the hugest stars that we can actually make them and fight back against these Looney Tunes that think they deserve a handout because it's Black History Month. Fight against these Looney Tunes that think they have a right to teach your kids weird ass politics, weird ass identity politics before they even know how to comprehend life yet or comprehend right and wrong yet. They're throwing this stuff in your face. Anyway, I could go on. That's another in your children's face. That's another video. But what I'm saying right now is just remember, everybody. Like I said before I got off on a tangent, this issue just really is special to me. There's no fate but what we make for ourselves. Keep America's promise to the children. Look this article up for yourself in the Epoch Times. I'm Cliff London. Mash that thumbs up button. I will see you guys next time. And by the way, thank you very much for all my new subscribers. Welcome to the Uncensored family. I will talk to you next time. Have a good night.